Howdy, my name is Nolan T. Painter, and in today's video I would like to discuss the ability to be more humble through the realization of others' pains. So let me just lay you off with an example here. You should be able to understand this pretty easily. Let's say, you're eating dinner with your family and you're not finishing your food, and your father would say, "Oh, there's kids starving in Africa, so you should eat your food." Well, that'd humble you pretty quick because you'd realize, oh, well, yeah, there are people and families who can't afford food, so I should be grateful for my food. Because ultimately, a huge aspect of being humble is being grateful. But you can only be grateful if you can realize that there are other people in more unfortunate situations. Actually, maybe I am wrong there. Maybe it is possible to be grateful without that, but that would require more thinking on another time. But sticking to this topic, you can become more humble through realizing the pain of others. So I'm not just talking about the kids starving in Africa or wherever scenario. I'm talking about a deep emotional empathetic connection with someone that allows you to be more grateful for your situation no matter how bad it is. I myself am in a pretty crummy situation, but I'm working very hard and I'm very grateful for realizing how hard I can work. Now, on the other hand, even though I might have a friend who is a bit of an easier situation, I can realize and put myself in their shoes and be completely empathetic and know to myself, well, yeah, while they are in an easier situation, they don't need to work as hard. So I'm grateful for having the hard time, so I need to work harder. And in that sense, I'm a bit more humbled. And by allowing other people to humble you, you and yourself are being grateful for those humblings and being extra humble, right? And if you still don't understand, imagine a situation where, let's say, you just lost your legs. Horrible, horrible accident. Someone might see you, without your legs and go, "Oh, wow, you don't have legs. I'm humbled and grateful for my legs." But you would see some fat person with legs and go, "Wow, I'm grateful I don't have legs because now I have to work extra hard. So I'm keeping in great physical condition despite not having two limbs," right? So that's being able to be humbled through having a deeper empathetic connection with someone. Granted, that example, you weren't very empathetic. But by having a deeper understanding of people, you're able to then realize their pain on any level, empathize with it, and then be more appreciative no matter what situation you put yourself in. And this kind of ties into the video where I talked about how there's 3 stages of awareness. If you want, you can watch that one. It's pretty interesting. But essentially, if you haven't, the idea is that there's this 3rd stage of awareness, which means you're not only empathetic to yourself and others, but you're fully understanding of the emotional consequences on yourself and everybody around you. And to be truly humbled means you need to have a full emotional understanding of everybody, right, through being empathetic, but then understanding the consequences of that empathy and your emotions and their emotions and etc., etc. And then when you fully understand everybody and the consequences, then you can realize, yeah, they're going through a lot of pain, so I'm grateful for maybe my extra pain or maybe my lack thereof. It also allows you to be grateful for other varieties of things, right? Like, let's say something bad happens to someone, well, then it's a given. You should be appreciative that that bad thing doesn't happen to you. But like I said earlier, if something good happens to someone, then you can still be appreciative for not having that good thing, and then be thankful because you didn't get that good thing. You have more of a reason to work hard, because it's always about being optimistic. It's always about trying to whip it around in a way that makes you want to work harder on yourself and be grateful for your life and opportunity. Because the truth is, you don't have to be where you are today. You don't have to be where you are tomorrow. In fact, you didn't even need to exist. But the fact that you exist and are here today is so insanely rare and so like I couldn't even put into words how insane it is and how lucky you are to be here today. And I'm not talking lucky as the idea of, oh yeah, you could have got hit by a car the other day, or oh, your house could have blew up. No. I'm talking everything had to come into place and everything had to fall into perfect place for you to be here in this exact moment. Like, that's kind of crazy when you really think about it. So should you not be grateful for that? Grateful for the opportunity to do something and to work hard and to feel pain, right? I'm grateful for the idea of just feeling pain, because now that I'm feeling pain, Instead of becoming a colder person, I'm now able to be warmer because I'm able to understand the pain of others, right? I have a friend of mine who I frequently talk to, and they were surprised how in tuned I was to them emotionally despite not talking for a long time. I haven't talked to them in years, and they immediately were surprised by the fact that I could instantly understand what they were going through because they were at a rather complex level of pain in their life, but I completely understood it. And I just told it to them straight up. And I'm like, yeah, no, I completely understand. And then I know what to say in response, right? All the little details you would put in your text message to make it more catering to their abilities, or, pardon me, not their abilities, but more catering to their experience. And that's what it means to be humbled. You need to go through pains and then be appreciative for those pains so you can better acknowledge and care for others, right? And even without those pains, you need to also realize the pains of others. Because if you're not able to acknowledge the pains of others and the misfortunes of others, or fortunes and the greatnesses of others, then you can't realize and be wiser and then humble yourself additionally, right? I guess what I'm trying to say at is there's two levels of being humble in this regard, which is realizing the pains of yourself and realizing the pains of others, or realizing the successes of yourself and the success of others. Like, oh, I'm so humble because I made $1 million and I'm grateful, or oh, I'm so humble because he made $1 million and I know I can work hard for that, right? It's always about being optimistic, always about being grateful, always about looking to the future and trying to better yourself. And this is amazing in relationships. I always like to tie it back to this relationship because I believe deep down, becoming a better man is for the sake of being more successful and more fulfilling and caring in a relationship status. Not like friendship or like a family dynamic, like in a loving relationship with a wife. So to tie it back, women are generally very emotional, and that makes them beautiful creatures. Okay, maybe creatures isn't the best word here, forgive me, but that makes them beautiful individuals, beautiful human beings, because they are so emotional. Men often lack that, and they lack emotional understanding. But if you can humble yourself enough and be so understanding of pain, then you can be emotionally available in every sense. Now, this isn't emotionally available in the woman's sense or the female idea where you're always emotional. Not to say that women can't be emotional or can't not be emotional, but in the masculine sense, where you can be fully understanding and know when you can step in, when you can leave them be, and how you can help. Because you'd be surprised how often women don't want their problems solved and they just want to be heard. And I had to learn that. But through humbling myself, right, or being humbled, right, because it's very difficult for me to actually consistently humble myself, but rather frequently that people come into my life and humble me, and then I'll be grateful for their impact on my life, humbling me. It allowed me to learn and fully understand the dynamic within the lives of women and be grateful for them, right? I had someone come into my life and completely humble me and change my perspective on the female life. And now I'm incredibly, well, I wouldn't say incredibly, but much wiser to them. And by understanding their pains that they experience, which they do experience pain, and it's quite often, especially because of their emotions, it allows me to be much more effective in a relationship and much kinder and warm of a soul, which is difficult because often the souls of men, especially hardworking men, are too cold, right? But being humbler through understanding people's pains allows you to be a bit warmer. So that's kind of it. This is a bit of a shorter video because there wasn't too much to talk about. Just the learning you should take from this is that you should be appreciative for your own pain, your own success, and then the pain and success of others, even if it's not to the same degree, right? Even if you're in like the worst situation that you could possibly be in and someone else is in a far less unfortunate situation, you should still be grateful for it, because you should still realize that from their perspective, whatever crappy situation they're going through is their worst, or it's inconvenient, or it's frustrating. And you should be grateful for those realizations and for seeing, oh yeah, this is a bit different for me, and maybe it's more or less frustrating, but I can still appreciate understanding the lives of others, and thus making yourself more humble. It is a little weird though saying that I'm trying to be humble, because in saying that, you're not really humble, but hopefully you're still able to pick up what I'm putting down here. That's about it. And then, of course, I wanted to relate it to a relationship because, personally speaking, you can completely disagree with me. I know often men like to look at self-improvement within different regards, but I like to believe that self-improvement is for the sake of having a beautiful wife, you know, of your same quality, because, well, personally, that's what I desire. And I think it's the fruit of life. It's the ultimate goal in life, is to be made complete with a woman, right? But that's a topic for another video, right? The idea of a man and woman coming together to be complete. That's a completely different discussion. I hope you were understanding and appreciating what I was trying to teach you in this video. I know it's not as in-depth or as clear as all the other ones, but I'm short on time and I'm just trying to make something quick so that way, you know, I can at least get the video out, right? Not in kind of a rushy kind of sense, but because I'm passionate, I want to make something every day for you, and I want you to at least have an understanding and appreciation for what I'm saying. But I'm going to stop dragging it. That's all. Thank you very much for watching.